So now that we're on scene 2, I'm not going to read the characters' names anymore. I'm just going to read what they say. Scene 2. Coach living room, day. A small, neat, modestly furnished room. Mrs. Coach sits near the window, fingers clenched in front of her, staring at the floor. She hears her husband's voice in one last burst. "And don't come back, you crummy kids, or you'll be sorry!" Sound of a screen door closing. Then the entering footsteps of Mr. Coach as he comes into the living room. Mrs. Coach looks up, her face full of pain and fear, her voice very soft. Sometimes it's best that you just ignore them. Ignore them? A pack of wild little animals calling our kid a freak, and we're supposed to ignore them? Looking ceilingward, that means towards the ceiling. Sometimes I think he's grown used to it. Oh, for Pete's sake, Doris, how could he grow used to it? Could you get used to it? 3 times a day, 7 days a week? Those monsters screaming at you at the tops of their lungs. And we're supposed to just sit here, read the evening paper, and make believe it's some kind of a blessing? Mrs. Coach just closes her eyes and doesn't respond. Mr. Coach moves over to her, his voice much softer now. "Doris, we've got some decisions to make. He's 17. He's not a child anymore." Her face jerks up with startling anger. "I won't have him sent away." Shakes head slowly. "Honey, I don't think we have any choice. He can't live the rest of his life huddled in a room of his bedroom, in a corner of his bedroom. It's destroying him. It's destroying us." Brokenly, Where would they send him? "I don't know, but much more of this. We wouldn't have a son anyway. We'd have just a silent piece of scar tissue who hides in dark corners." His own voice breaks now. He turns away from her abruptly, moves across the room, over to the hallway at the foot of the stairs. She follows him there. "Paul, must it be now?" Mr. Coach says nothing, but whirls soundlessly, rushing in misery up the stairs. Mrs. Coach stands at the foot, staring forlornly after him. So what I want you to think about now that we've finished scene 2, which is only between Mr. and Mrs. Coach, is how do Victor's parents feel about Victor? How would you describe their feelings? Do they have the same feelings about the situation, or do they seem to have a different opinion about what's going on with their son?